All right. Morning, folks. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hold on one second. Let me get this Nest cap going. This Nest cap, it ain't real coffee, but it's growing on me. It ain't real coffee, but it's growing on me. It's growing on me. It's something about that little teaspoon and the fact that it doesn't taste good. It's that Nest cap, it just grows on you. It's growing on me. Now I think of Nest cap all the time. What's going on? Cool. Let's get to fucking work. Hey, we got some news out in the markets. Another gap down. We got some news out with China. We got some news out with China, and China and Nvidia, and there's some Apple news out. So it's going to be a wild day. But let's first start out with China. All right. So the U.S. government has told the good folks at Nvidia to stop selling H100 circuits, which fucking who knows what that fucking means, right? That sounds like bird flu to me, but right? Hey, stop exporting the H1N5 62 beta flux capacitor to the Asianese people in Beijing, okay? Otherwise, we're going to be very, very unhappy. So we've got this going on over here. U.S. government reauthorized export, blah, 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 the H1N1 circuits. Okay, that's amazing, right? Yeah. Italy does not have the best coffee. No, America has the best coffee. America has best everything, okay? Okay. We got the best everything. Okay. We've got the most fattest booties in the world. Okay. They're jiggly. We've got the best donuts. Okay. We have McDonald's. It's fantastic. It's great, people. Cool. So I'm actually, this is the interesting part of this. And the video was like at 180 bucks a couple days ago. I'm actually thinking like we try to bounce this thing at some point because this is like this 140 will be big support. We got to wait. But like if this thing knifes down at the open, like 4 more points, that'll do it. Like that'll take us down into some support here. And that'll get things going here. So I think that'll be, let's go set an alert about 141, 142, and we'll see like what's going on over here, and we'll get this pate going. Otherwise, we got to leave it alone. Like if it squeezes up a couple bucks at the open, we actually probably have to fizzle it off. But for now, I'm thinking like one nice big scary flush. There's going to be a lot of angst in the market today, and I'll tell you why. Dealing with like this Russia, Ukraine stuff, that's like child's play, right? Like Russia is like, it's like a 1930s, right? It's like fighting with somebody from the 1930s. But these Asianese people, man, they're smart, right? And that's a little girl fight that we don't want a part of probably. And I think the market will get a little bit scared about that, because if you remember like a couple years ago when we had the tariff stuff, when Trump was like, okay, guys, we're going to put tariffs on all the maple syrup in China, okay, because it's just disgusting. And so we had like this kind of stuff going on. The market was flying around back and forth nonstop on those news. And so that's something we don't really even want to get into, because most likely, with this NVIDIA news, then, probably tomorrow, like China will say something like, hey, well, we're going to be banning blah, 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 right? And then the US will be like, hey, what about if then we're going to do this? And so you can get into like this, they can get into this back and forth over here and see what's going on. Yeah, Chobi, what the fuck? Try doing forgot password, Brolo. Try doing forgot password. It's just a button. Don't play victim because you're too stupid to do forgot password, or hit up the customer service. You deserve that one. All right, now let's get into the gappers here. All right. SHPH. Hey, this is one. I think this is too thin for us, right? Let's leave that alone. We'll come back to this though, because like if you see here, this thing is skipping dollars. This is probably way too wild for most of you guys. Like when you have condos like that, if the liquidity comes in, we may take a look at this, but I think you got to be really on top of your shit for I think you got to be really on top of your shit to try to play this stuff. Like, because the thing is, you can only probably do it with like 20 shares or 50 shares, like not even that maybe, right? Because it's moving around so much. Because if you think about it, even if you were trading like say 50 shares of this, if it's moving around like $10 at a time, that's $500. But like you can lose that too, right? That's a nice, easy way to ruin your day. So I think maybe we'll take a pass on that. HPCO. So hey, these like kind of beaten down IPOs after they dump off, they have been doing like these kind of one-day pops. This one's up a lot, but like, we saw this with MJAM, fucking Megal, sorry for the swearing, MJAM, Megal, right? Like they have these like kind of one-day glory pops and then they kind of die off again. You already got 5 million shares in volume on this. I think we actually add that for now. FMTX, it's a buyout. See this is in that Pax Medica, right? So it's $10, comes all the way to $3, right? Those IPO holders just fucking dust it off, and then they kind of have this one day of glory. Let's add that to NTNX, blast from the past. Wow, NTNX with some news out today. We haven't. Nutanix, fiscal loss narrows, revenue declines, shares jumped, right? Good. Now. You know what? We could play this. We could play this. You got a big base breakout over here. And you got this gap fill, and you got room up to the 200-day moving average. Now it's up 17%. Like we can't chase this up, right? So when you think about like these kind of plays, you got to let it pull back and grind a little bit at the open, and maybe come in. Maybe if it pulls back to the 9 or the 20 or something like that, because it's not necessarily a huge moving stock. We might be able to play that. I'd give that a B- though. PRQ. Good. Toxic. Look at this fucking jizz. Gianzi education. So this is like, right, you're seeing like a little bit of a theme in some of these. This is like probably, this is going to be another one that could be a bouncy today. These are just for day trades. If you hold any of these for more than like even 10, 15 minutes, you'll probably get dusted, right? You can catch like these things for bounces, but I'm talking like 10, 15 minutes max. Like unless you're trading really well, those are not good setups for you. That's good. UVIX, junk, China Bear, TBT. This is the short treasuries. Whoa. That's not good for the market. When you see the short treasury ETFs like starting to like really roll like this, that puts a lot of sell pressure on the market. Okay, so this is crude oils dumping off too. Good. All right, cool. So let's talk about the QQQs in just a technical level. We are oversold. We're at a 6 stochastics. Actually, even though we've been going down every day, the stochastics have been actually working off its oversold condition. We were at like 3 or 4 stochastics a couple days ago. So even though we're going down, we're kind of working it off because the rate of slowness is going down. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So it's a gap down on a day 5, but we're just at the kind of riding down the lower Bollinger. We need like kind of that bigger. We need like a big flush out to really try to maybe get some longs going. At this moment, the market has dropped over 10% in the last 2 weeks, but we still have all this room to fall. So like, you don't want to step in front of the train too much, even though it looks like, we should be bouncing here because we were down so many days in a row. We're not necessarily like, we're oversold, but we're not necessarily extended or like very parabolic. And so what's happening is we're like just bleeding away slowly but surely. And so that's making all the bounce attempts like really, really tricky. We don't have like even a clear level to try to get long here. So you got to be really careful on this. Same type of deal. Like, this 390 is going to be a really important spot on the SPY because that's like where it started the breakout. You guys see this over here? So probably in mid-July, we had this lid on the market here, and we had like just kind of busted over it, and then that started this run. So now we're kind of coming back and retesting that. So I do think like we're kind of in the we're probably in the zone like where we should be bouncing, but we're just not getting extended enough. And I think that makes things like really tricky for us here, where it's like you're oversold but not extended. We're going to have to be careful here and really trade accordingly. Let's go back. What happens is if you're not getting a good read on the market, then you want to stick with the PR plays or the earnings plays. Like things that have fresh news out is what we want to be trading. So let's take a look here. Like Okta has some earnings out. And this is like a pretty big breakdown over here. This is like one of those high flying tech stocks. This is $300. When anytime you think like how much lower can they go? How low can they go? Zero, right? How low can they go? Zero. You got a big breakdown over here. Now it's down 20%. So the SSR is going to be on this. If this squeezes up and even kind of like retests like 75, 76, 77, right? Pops into the 9 EMA and the 5-minute chart, right? You get that, and that kind of like maybe a little bit of a grindy pop into it. Then I think you can look at taking a potential short on it. What I mean by that, guys, is like this is kind of your quintessential quick pullback short. All right. So when you're thinking about stocks that gap down a lot on earnings and you're like, fuck, do I chase it, not chase it, right? You don't want to chase it. But what you want to do is like see like something like a Chewy, right? Like it says $38, right? It gaps down on the earnings. And then like, it just starts to squeeze a little bit, right? So you go 34, 35, 36, and it gets all the way to 36, right? Pops into the 9 EMA, and then it starts to kind of roll, and then you come back down. You see that? So you don't want to chase it down. You wait it out, let it pop into the EMAs, and then kind of pull it back down into the lows, all right? So when you see something like this Okta, right, what you want to be doing is like let it pop, see where it starts to hold, let it pop into 9 or 20 EMA, and then you come in hot on that. AI, this is another one, right? It's down 15%, but I think we could probably take this piggy down too. This thing is, this company's a pig. I mean, this thing also is $200. We were trading this during the IPO days, and it looked like the next big thing, and now it's not. But let's add this one too. This one trades a little bit thin, though. This is, I think I'd rather probably fuck with Okta. MDB, Mungo Bungo, loss wise, revenue rises, blah, 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 blah. You guys remember what movie that's from? Sister Act? One of the greatest movies of all time. Let's add this Mongo Bongo too. This might be a little bit illiquid. It's already down 50 points. Got to let this bad boy squeeze up, and then we'll take this fucking piggy down too. Megal came in hot at 2 p.m. Hey, who had the Megal alert in the chat room on Friday or yesterday? I fucking missed it. Sister Act 2 was, that dance scene at the end, and Sister Act 2 was incredible. I don't know what to do with this Megal. I don't know. This thing's such a bitch to trade. If this SHP starts to move, like, then these kind of names will start to go. We can add it to the list. Let's see. I'm not sure. Like, this may go red to green if see how the base is kind of building here. I'd like start to mark out these levels right around here, maybe about 740. If it busts out of that box, then you'll probably see this thing go into the red to green. And then the rest will depend on, right, that SSPH or whatever SHPH that's going. If it starts to cruise, then it's going to start to cook. Sienna Corporation is actually one of the first stocks I ever bought in 2000. Fuck, I'm old. Sienna reports adjusted income down, blah, da, 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 da. Revenue down, income down. Oh, Thirsty, good job, buddy. As long as one of you fuckers caught it. Shit. I feel good about it. Good. Hey, this thing is also getting dusted on earnings. A little bit light on liquidity. I'd give this a B minus setup. But this is probably a candidate for an ORB or quick pullback buy on the short side, guys, right? These gap down plays, we want to be short in these piggies. Nerve peaked out now. I think at this point, like you'll have to, I'd set an alert if it gets to about maybe 950, start looking at it again. But you see this candle right here? When you see this candle that looks like a big fuck you, right, with the big tail on it, those are reversal candles, essentially. When you see that kind of candle, the subsequent pops into these tails, they tend to get dusted. So you want to stay away from them till like it really kind of bleeds out. And then, you get a surefire setup. And, whoever invested in this one, what was it, Stevie Cohen? Stevie Cohen, right? They put out the PR that Stevie Cohen was buying this thing. They probably got that thing at $2-3. Like they sold this shit. Somebody dashed a lot of liquidity into these two tails right here. BBY, I'd leave that alone too, boys. What are you guys watching? Hold on here. What y'all fucking watching? Beaky, see, these are Chinese stocks. I think these will be, stay away from trying to long the Chinese stocks, even though like PDD and some of these had these nice earnings out. If we get into some like fucking sword fight with China on these chips and stuff, then it's going to be a game of peekaboo. And frankly, like something like this could go red to green and just top out and, bleed out. Like we may, I think TRQ was a buyout. Yes, I want to stay away from these China names, at least on the long side. If we catch a bleed on them, then, we'll pound it. I think today's going to be a very, very tricky day. I'll tell you what, when you get a market that's oversold, but there's no bid in it, it makes it really dangerous to short, because when you short something that's really oversold, it takes the smallest amount of buying to just uptick it and squeeze. But what happens is that small amount of buying, the uptick and squeeze, you'll see a green candle. And then if you buy it a little bit too high, it gets dusted off too. So what ends up happening is like, if your entry is even like a little bit like 10, 15, 20 cents high, it squeezes up and now you've chased it a little bit and then boom, you can chase in momentum markets to the upside. But what happens when the market's bleeding to the downside, every day that the market stays red, the short side becomes a little bit more tired, but then on the long side, you just don't see the opportunities. And then what'll happen is you'll start to see things turn up for a second and you get excited and then they rug pull nonstop. And that's going to be, that's going to be the nature of the game. Good. Yeah, let's take a look. I do think Tesla, this, is at an interesting spot. If the market bounces, you have this 50-day moving average here, and it's just an easy location. So I think if you like need a bounce today, and we get close to one, you roll in hot with the Tesla on the 50-day moving average, or right, you roll in on the NVIDIA at 140, something like that, and you're going to have yourself just like a nice little pizza party. Yeah, I think AMD is a little bit more in no man's land than NVIDIA is, but they'll run together regardless. We got Okta. Fucking Okta's bleeding. Yeah, I hate trading Tesla, but I think now that it's done the split a little bit, maybe it'll be a little bit easier. The thing is fucking hard to trade when it's $1,000. It's the spread that always gets me. Look at this fucking thing. See, this is like, it's moving fast, huh? This is going to be fucking something. HPCO, NTNX, PMXD. Yeah, resource agreed buyout offer. So whatever their buyout offers, it'd probably just be stuck there. So it says 3270, Arvin. So it's usually it'll be a little bit under 37 to just give you the risk premium. JD, where the fuck you been? You find this fucking hat. Can't find the better man. Yeah, I'm in Rome in this fucking dark apartment. You know, everything in Rome's fucking beams are all brown. We can get some sunlight in here. But it's 3:30 p.m. Yeah, 3:30 p.m. I've been trying not to trade the whole day. So it's like, I can get out at like 8 o'clock, give or take. Rome is okay. Positano was really magical. Naples was nice. Rome was okay. It's nice walking around and stuff. I'm not much of a sightseer, right? I'm a hunter. You know what I mean. Okay, we got HPCO. Okay, let's kind of make our 6 windows. The HPCO. Yeah, guys, on your 6 windows, you could put up a list for your flag symbols too. You could take up any list you want. So like, say like, for example, you have like, gappers list or breakout list or solars, so you can do it with anything. So, like say you have your gappers list over here, right? You can see, like, you can start tossing, you can add these in, and then, you have your kind of 6 windows layouts over here. So that'll help you kind of filter through some of these things, and then you can kind of run it so you can run an internal scan on it and select some conditions and shit. So you can put some conditions in it so that in your list, you're constantly running some type of stream on it, whether it's via momentum, volume surge. You could use mixed time frames, daily chart, 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, whatever. So you can even put in indicators and stuff like conditions, like, hey, alert me if it gets into the VWAP or the 9 EMA, so on and so forth. So you can use these kind of tools to organize your lists, right? So that, because obviously you can't just be watching like a fucking million things. You know what I mean? So now, you could take some of these things and it'll help you just stay organized. Yeah, and get rid of all this fucking junk we've been training on. Day 2, you can do PDD for day 2 also. Bongo's fine. Bongo AI Octa. This thing didn't wait for us, huh? Bastards. I actually don't think Meta holds either. We got this HPCO, we got NTNX, PXMD, the Jizz Education, Jizz HPCO. We got NVIDIA, new Chewy for day 2. Then we got Mongo Bongos. So MDB, right? Octa, AI. Good. Guys, and watch that QQQ, the SPY 390. All right, watch this 390 area. When you come into it, let's see what goes downtown Julie Brown on this. You see it's never an exact spot, right? It's not like 390, 390.4, right? These are zones of love, right? A zone of love. Once you start getting near to it, then you want to start watching on smaller term time frames. You know it, Daniel. I haven't done shit. My mom's like, did you go see the Vatican? Nope. Did you go do this? Nope. Nope. Not a chance. Holy shit. We'll see if the volume comes in. I'd be surprised if we played this thing. All right, that's the list. I'm sticking to it. All right, guys, trade well. Remember, the market is nasty. This is not the time where you're going to make the big bucks. Like, this is a grind out time. You know, when the market bleeds out like this, but it's like already oversold, you're not going to get in and make like 10% in the day or 20% in a day. There'll be times for that, but that's not now. This is like, hey, I'm, trading for income. All right, let's go do what we do, which is the do.